Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Jay and Will Show. I'm Jay,
I am Will. Let's go.
and we are live on the YouTubes.
You're
Just to give a rundown of what we'll be doing this evening, we will first be taking a step back into recap the Dallas Cowboys Thanksgiving, whatever you want to call it, game against the Raiders. And then once we conclude that, we will move forward to do predictions for the remaining games in the Week 12 schedule. We'll be kicking off on Sunday. But first things first, get this out of the way. Gotta discuss this Cowboys game. So Dallas Cowboys fall to 7-4 on the season, losing to the Las Vegas Raiders 36-35. Sorry, 36-33 in overtime. Just came out flat, from the get go, and kind of got themselves back into it in the fourth quarter, but just a little bit too late to get things started. A lot of controversy in this game is in terms of how the game was called. The most penalties called on both teams in a decade plus in regards to the number of penalties called in a game. So obviously a lot of attention being shined on Sean Hockley and his crew, which obviously is what he was going for. I mean, why else would you be throwing all those flags? So yeah, a lot of things to discuss in regards to this game. So I'll kick it off to you. Just your initial thoughts with how things unfolded in the game against the Raiders on Thursday.
Well, first thing first, looked like the referee just threw another flag for
There is another flag. Yeah. Still.
Yeah, yeah, for Dallas playing defense. So it was just a terrible, like I said, for the preview, Dallas had to come out, had to put up a score first, and then go from there, and that did not happen. Uh, Raiders came out, put up the touchdown with Deshaun over the top. I mean, if you try to play any defense on him, they're going to throw a flag because that's what happened on just about every third down. They had 3 first downs from passes and like 5 or 6 from penalties. Like that's insane. But yeah, the referees took a headline. They should have got the turducket
Yep.
award as well. So they're the MVPs of the game. Michael Parsons said, came out here to play football, not tag, because when the quarterback scramble, you're not you're supposed to just let him run and not actually try to get to him. So because if you do, that's roughing the passer somehow.
Of course.
But because same rules in the pocket as it is outside the pocket.
Right.
But yeah, Dallas need to I think they'll get it together moving forward. This week, I don't have much to say. It was a trash game. It just felt if Dak did what he could, threw him back into the game. It wasn't even a great game on his part outside of like the yardage. It was so many drops too. Um, Throughout the game from the receivers and tight ends. It's like when they just have a bad game, one of the best ways. Yeah, it just happens across the board. Like drops increase, like it just rolls downhill. It's insanity. But I think now that they have this week, they'll get it together going down to New Orleans to deal with the Saints. It seems like Zeke will. There are talks of Zeke getting some rest because I think he shouldn't have played this game just because of the type of knee injury it was. It wasn't anything devastating, but it was a short week. I would have rather him instead of him being out there just to give you like 30 yards of nothing. I would have rather him just take that. It would have been an extra game or basically an extra week of rest, and it would have been healthy. And I'm glad that CD didn't play as well. They say he didn't pass the concussion protocol, but I didn't want him to play either way. You still have uh, a couple game lead in your division over the Eagles, so it was no need to pressure him. You still have a game against the Eagles, two against Washington, and another against the Giants. So there's no need to try to put him out there, make things worse to where he could end up missing additional time on the other side of it. Just get him healthy, get Amari back next week. Then we can start looking at Tank coming back as well. So this week, yeah, this game was trash, but it is what it is.
Yeah. We talked going into this stretch of games that
Mm-hmm.
we need to get two of them,
Yeah.
and we've lost the first two.
Yeah.
Um, so that's obviously not good and not what we obviously felt was the ideal scenario.
Yeah.
Um, I think overall, I completely agree with you. Zeke should not have played. Um,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of folks, for whatever reason, were surprised that CeeDee Lamb wasn't playing. But when
Yeah.
folks get concussions, it's a close call if they make it back the next week. When you have a full week, this dude will
Exactly.
have 3 days, so I
Hmm.
don't know why there was such optimism. Oh, he might get to play. I didn't think he was going to play at all because,
Yeah.
if it's a close call for folks to have a full week, this dude has half of that time, and you expect him
Yeah.
to be able to play. So I
Yeah.
appreciate them not, taking that chance and risking it
Hmm.
being worse than what it is. Even if he was close, it still doesn't matter. There's no point of putting that making that type of a risk in a game
Exactly.
that potentially may not be consequential. I mean, we talked about this before.
AFC.
You losing these games to AFC, and now the rest of our schedule is NFC.
Yeah.
So we don't have that luxury anymore. We have to, these games are gonna hurt more if we lose them as opposed to the ones when we lost to the seemingly just the AFC West and Tampa.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate, obviously, and this is one of those games that you certainly felt. I won't say you had to win, but like we talked about getting 2 out of 3, I would like for us to be able to do
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
and not have to worry. And we talked about this in previous weeks about the potential of being able to put this division to bed and not have to worry about it. But now that we've had this kind of a rough stretch where we lost 3 out of 4,
Yeah.
not to say that the division is in question per se, but there's room to have that discussion because if you trip and fall against the Eagles when you play them again in a couple of weeks, then it's like, or at the end of the season, it's like, well,
Yeah.
what does that game mean? If you don't win both the games against Washington, what does that mean?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of what ifs that you would hope would not have to surface or present themselves because we would have handled business before it. So that's not even an issue. So certainly would have liked them to be able to do that. Obviously, having Zeke not being 100%, like you said, we would rather him sit out because he wasn't productive, just like he wasn't productive against Kansas City. And
Yeah.
if he's not going to be productive, obviously you can't, predict someone's productivity, but knowing what he did against Kansas City and how you're getting him on a short week, knowing he was already banged up, to me, it just kind of makes sense to have this be the game that he sits. And like you said, you get an extra at
Hmm.
least half a week, 10 days
Exactly.
or so to be ready to go against the Saints and go from there. You
Yeah.
obviously know you have a legitimate, number 2 in Tony Pollard, so it's not like you don't know what you have in your backup.
Yeah.
So just give him that opportunity, show him that you trust in him and that you believe that if called on, he can contribute and he can be productive.
Exactly.
I felt like this was the opportunity to do that, and they kind of fell flat at that opportunity. Um, Wide receivers weren't getting any separation either. I think it's
Nah.
easy to talk about that being inaccurate. He wasn't accurate. I mean, there
Yeah.
were some
There's
passes
several
that
of them,
didn't. Yeah, there were a few of them.
and in the
You
dirt.
know, even in overtime, that one to Noah Brown who was wide open for a third
Oh.
down and 3, it was like that's an easy first down. He just missed them for some reason.
Yeah.
You don't want to speculate on certain things as to why that is, but I mean, say what you want. He really hasn't been the same since he came back off the injury. I mean, it's just the
Hmm.
reality of it. Um, so a lot of things that people just kind of assume that once we get Amari and CD back, we'll be fine. It's like I hope that's true because if it's not, these issues are going to continue. But obviously, one thing that both those guys are able to do is create separation. And the
Yeah.
guys have been playing with the Cedric Wilsons and the Noah Browns and those guys, the Malik Turners, have not been able to create separation, and we've seen that.
Yeah.
We've seen the issue when you don't have that. Timing is off and things of that nature. And so just sluggish offense offensive game again.
Yeah.
Defense can only do so much. I mean, obviously they play really well against Kansas City. When you got the Cowboy killer and Deshaun Jackson, who seems to score every time he plays us out there, just running past the secondary, it's tough to guard. So
Yeah.
obviously not to say that they're absolved from it because they could have played a lot better.
Oh yeah,
But man,
absolutely.
if when you got the team and the Zebras going up against you, it's tough. So, you
Yeah.
know, one thing I will say though is I think a lot of people have been quick to jump on Anthony Brown, and he didn't have his best game in the world, but
Nah.
for him to be having the season he's having, I mean, he's earned the right to get at least a mea culpa and just at least like give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
I know everybody's used to browbeating Anthony Brown for how he's been his whole career, but I
Yeah.
think this year he's proven that he deserves a little bit of leeway. And we talked about how some of those calls didn't really make any sense. I mean, you look specifically at the overtime call. I don't know what he's supposed to do in that situation. You
Yeah.
got a ball that's underthrown, so you have a wide receiver coming back to the ball, and he's in a position where he can't turn around because he's literally being like jumped over by the wide receiver. Like if he
Yeah.
tried to turn around at that point, they're gonna call a flag on him for turning around and interfering with the wide receiver trying to get back to the ball. So it's like I don't know what you do in that situation that what else you do, I should say, besides what
Yeah.
he did, which was really nothing. Like I'm at the mercy of the receiver right now because I can't do anything. If I turn around,
Mm-hmm.
it's PI. If I just so I'll just stay where I am and put my hands up and hope the ref doesn't like call me for in contact. And of course,
Yeah.
you get a PI. And so, Derek Carr, even I think they talked about it. Like they just knew, like, hey, I'm just gonna throw it up. And they saw how the refs were calling the game, and so
Yeah.
you don't have to get open. If I'm just gonna chuck it up in the air, and as long as you're in the vicinity of it, they're gonna get a call. If you
Yeah.
get sneezed on, so it is what it is. Tough call. We saw it, in the Tampa game.
Same
And the
crew.
fact that that crew, the road team for that crew is 9-2 this year. The road team is 9-2
Yeah.
with that crew. Just says a lot. So,
Yeah. And Dallas has 2 losses with that crew.
right, half of our losses are with that crew. So just difficult, difficult game all the way around. Outside of Michael Parsons, and it's you just kind of put it away, move forward, get ready
Yeah.
for the Saints, who just got shellacked by the Buffalo Bills the same night.
Yeah.
So one good thing is that they'll they'll be coming off of a loss. Obviously, it'll be a tough road game going up against them in the dome, but got to win that game. I mean, we're at that point now. So you lose that game and go 7-5. Everything comes back into question. But to your point that you mentioned earlier, we hope to obviously have Mari back. Hopefully, have CD back. Potentially have a combination of Tank, Gregory, or both.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. I think that lift could potentially help us. But one thing this game did to me solidify is we're not as deep as we thought we were. In terms of particularly, I guess I'll say on the offensive end.
Yeah.
And look, I don't know what the thought process was and what they were doing on the offensive line with having your left guard and your right tackle kind of coming in shifts. I mean, like,
Yeah.
what are you doing there? And when they asked about it, when they were asked about it, the answer was just basically, with it being a short week, they wanted to make sure that guys had the opportunity to be somewhat fresh. But it's like, okay, well then what about the left tackle and the center and the right guard? They don't deserve to get
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's
Yes,
just,
especially that left tackle.
especially the left tackle is coming off an injury, so it's just like it
Yeah.
just doesn't make sense to me. And then one last thing is a lot of people were asking about, well, if it's a 3rd and 18 in overtime, why are you playing man in that situation where you can just play zone and kind of keep the ball in front of you? 3rd and 18 was the down distance when they threw the ball up to Zay Jones and got the PI to put them in field goal position to win the game. And when Dan Quinn was asked about it, he basically said, I didn't want to give them any free yardage because of their kicker. So he felt like they were close enough to field goal range to where he didn't feel comfortable enough playing zone because he didn't want to give them any soft coverage where they can potentially get enough underneath to get in field goal range. So he felt confident enough in their man defense to stop them on third down, which A, they hadn't really done that the whole game, and B, we saw how the refs were calling the game. So,
Yeah.
you can kind of, I guess, pick and choose how you want to dissect that decision, but that was the reasoning that we got from Dan Quinn on why the decision was made to play man in that case instead of zone, when probably in more cases than not, you would play zone in that particular situation.
Yeah.
Um, any thoughts on that, or any other thoughts in regards to that game before we head to the rest of the predictions for the week?
I think part of the reason why Dak last ball to Noah Brown. Last time he tried to make a play like that, he got hurt. That was in the Patriots game. If he would have jumped up and threw it like he did to CD, he would have got the completion. But I think he was in his head with the injury. That's why he ended up short arming it. And then another week, another special teams play with that kick return for a touchdown. Man, listen, it felt so weird watching it. It was like he was in motion while it was happening, but nobody could catch up to him. It was so
Yeah.
crazy. But it's Bones Fossil with another good one. Kicker missed 4 points. That could have came in handy. Uh, I just don't know about that guy. Everybody else on special teams be balling, but I just don't know about that guy.
I I will
That's all I gotta
say,
say.
like, I will say that uh, I think all but one kicker, all but one starting kicker in the league has missed at least 2 extra points this year.
Hmm.
So there's that piece of it. I think I don't know. Everybody's like, "Oh, where's the dude they signed when he got COVID?" That dude only kicked extra points. He didn't make
Yeah,
any field goal attempts, so there's no guarantee that
that's
we
true.
know that he'd be any better.
Yeah,
And look, I'm not out here trying to shoot Zerline Bell and say that he doesn't deserve criticism, because he does. But I
yeah,
think we're kind of in our own echo chamber, and the reality is, you know, uh, Justin Tucker's missed field goal, missed extra points this year. We saw
crazy.
a game where Harrison Butker missed an extra
Oh yeah,
point
yeah, yeah,
against with the Chiefs. So these they're
yeah,
missing them. I mean, that's the reason why
yeah,
they moved them back as far as they did, was to make it more of a quote unquote exciting play and not just an automatic point. So
yeah.
I mean, I think it's easy for us to criticize him, and I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it, but everybody's got the same issues. Kickers stink, and so it's a universal issue, not just a Dallas issue. So just I think we should just kind of keep that in mind.
That's right.
But yeah, I think everything you mentioned is true, and I will say I hope that if what you're saying is true in regards to Dak, that he can get that out of his head, because we're gonna need him to make plays that he probably
Hmm.
can't be hesitant on. People talk about how much he's not running anymore, which we kind of think we should have expected that. Considering the
Yeah,
fact that his ankle fell off last year. You're
yeah.
not going to get him running the same way he was. And there are certain times where
Not
you
this
look
year.
at third and shorts, maybe third and 3 or 4, and you see him kind of roll out, and you think he's got enough space to run, but at the last second he kind of holds up and throws. You know, those are going to be kind of part of how you see him play the rest of his career, more than likely, because of their risk reward. Um, there was one play, I can't remember what the down distance was, but I saw someone mentioning, "Well, why didn't he just sneak it?" I'm like, I don't want to see Dak do no sneaks. I have
Outside of
zero
the red
interest in.
zone.
I have zero interest in Dak doing any sneaks. Even in the end zone, I don't know if I want him doing sneaks, just because Patrick Mahomes got hurt doing that. So like, I
Yeah,
just I don't want. I'm cool on no sneaks,
yeah,
just because of the risk that's there, and just like Dak knows he's been hurt. Those defenders know he's been hurt too. So what do you think they're
yeah.
gonna be doing in those piles when he has that when they have opportunity?
That's real.
If you want to put him in harm's way like that. But yeah, we'll see how it goes next week. Just like I said before, like you mentioned, Nick too, just put this one to bed. It happened. Move on. Get ready for the Saints, and just let's not have this be a recurring thing. We lost 3 out of our last 4, but I think we've weirdly enough we lost them in different ways.
Yeah,
They have not all been the same loss, which I guess in some ways you can find solace. But just hope that once you get healthy, that these things kind of correct themselves, and that it's not lingering issues that hang around longer than they should. All right, I think that's enough. We can now move on to Week 12 predictions.
It's a
Um,
good week of football.
yes, sir. Should be a little bit shorter because there were so many games on Thursday, so that's good.
Mhm.
We also have a couple of buys this week as well. So we will start off with what could be one of the better games to start off. Well, potentially. Um, the 7-3 Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to be visiting the 6-5 Indianapolis Colts. Obviously, we talked about before. The Colts are hot now. They've been playing really well. Bucks, I don't know. I don't know. Not as kind of like us in a way. You know, things aren't
Mhm.
as straightforward or as easy to call as we would have thought. So I'll hand this over to you. 7-3 Bucks going against the 6-5 Colts. Who do you see picking up the victory in this one?
I got the Colts, especially after what they did to Buffalo last week. They put a whooping on them boys.
Beat them down.
So yeah, which is crazy because it's and then come Thursday, Buffalo came out and put a whooping on New Orleans. So yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
got the Colts in this one. They'll be at home. They rolling right now, trying to get and stay in a playoff mix.
Okay. It's Carson Wentz.
That defense though.
Yeah, defense is nice, and that's why your defense if your defense is able to keep the Bucks in check, then your
Hmm.
offense got to score points. And Jonathan Taylor, look, like
Jesus.
it,
Jesus.
it's insane.
Yes.
Um, man,
I know.
I'm that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Um, I think I'm gonna go with the Colts only because who I guess I'll just have to wait and see who stopped Jonathan Taylor first, and then go from there because
Mm.
that dude is he's a monster, and I think
Yeah.
they realize what they have in him, and so they have really put the ball in his hands more than expected Carson Wentz to win it for them, and I think
Yeah.
that's the winning recipe. So that's the biggest thing is doing that, giving your team opportunity to win, and knowing that the playoffs are at stake, and because of the recent trip ups with the Titans, that division
Hmm.
is not out of the question for the Colts. So
Yeah.
they got to win this
Insane.
game, and it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. I can't believe I'm picking them, but
Me
I think
neither.
you kind of talked me
I
into it. I'm going with the Colts in this one.
I just knew you're gonna split it and go with Tampa.
I was there, but man, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah. It's gonna be a good one.
Yes. All right. Hi.
Yeah.
Conglomerate. What's good? Um, yeah. So I am. That's a tough one though. I'm definitely going with the. But that you know that game's on Fox. We may
Yeah.
get that one locally. I hope we do.
Yeah.
I might have to
Me
watch that
too.
whole thing. All
Me
right.
too. Oh, man, listen.
Uh, next game, the Who Cares Bowl. 2-8 New York Jets visiting the all of a sudden not super trash 2-8 Houston Texans off their win last week. I don't know what happened in that game. I don't know how they explain it. I don't know if you have an explanation for that
Nah.
because I definitely don't. But I,
Insane.
this is like I said, this
NFL.
NFL exactly. So I don't even know who to pick in this one now. I mean, I look at the fact that they beat the Titans last week, and I think the knee
Handedly.
jerk would probably on the road,
Yeah.
and I would think the knee jerk reaction would be to pick Houston. So you know what, picking Houston. I mean,
Yeah.
at
That's
this
smart.
point, who knows? Like we talked about this for the past 3 weeks or so. Like, I don't know how you pick these games anymore. I don't know how you predict them. So I'm just gonna start picking random teams and just seeing if it sticks. So I'm going with Houston in this one. What about you?
Yeah, I'm going Houston as well. They're at home, and Jets is just a terrible team. They're better at home than on the road
True.
sometimes.
True.
But it's hard because it's like they're so bad, so I'm not even sure about that. But yeah, I'm going
Yeah.
Houston with this one.
Yeah, man. That game last week, I was just like, what?
Yeah.
I saw that score because you had messaged me like I was just like these scores like what happened? Like
Yeah.
this is wild. So yeah, going to Houston somehow. The next game, a game that may have more. Um, we may have more interest in than we may have thought a few weeks ago, but the 5-6 Philadelphia Eagles visiting the 3-7 New York Giants. New York Giants will be playing their first game after firing Jason Garrett, which I don't know why. I don't know why he did that. I mean, I felt like he was doing a good job. It's unfortunate for him. But don't bring your ass to Frisco. We're not interested. Um,
Scalp, scalp,
Thoughts?
scalp, scalp, scalp.
No, no, stay, no. Now, I think if he's at home scout where he don't have to like talk to nobody and he's got him on the payroll, like he just working from home and don't go to the squad, don't communicate with another team, I'm fine with that. I don't know if I'm fine with that, but that's the only scenario where I wouldn't be ready to burn the start to the ground. Um, so yeah, Eagles at the Giants. We don't know what kind of offense we're going to see from the Giants, but the
Creative.
Eagles have been playing well the past few weeks. So, any reason to think that the Giants have a shot in this one, Will?
NFC East and NFL.
So anything can happen, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, who you got in this one?
Going to Giants because of those two things: the NFL and the fact that it'd be the NFC East. Also, because my friend Dennis, he's had too much good luck of late. So yeah,
Shout out Dennis, man.
yeah.
Um,
Michigan won tonight or today. So yeah,
what a game!
crazy.
I know this ain't a college football podcast, but man, I mean, they punched
Yeah,
Ohio State in the mouth and they couldn't respond. So
yeah.
give
It
credit to
was.
Harbaugh, man. His job was on the line, no matter what they say if he didn't win that game. And so
Hmm.
him getting over the hump and finally getting that win was huge. But NFL,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Um, I don't know what I'm going to see. I mean, I would love for the Giants to win this game. So I'm going to pick them because I think we need them to win that game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
we just need them to win
yeah.
that game. I need Philadelphia to lose all the games. And so at their expense, I'm going to pick the Giants with little to no faith. But they got Freddie Kitchens, I think, who's going to be calling the plays. And he's a lot more, I guess, I want to say experimental, but he's a more aggressive
Mhm.
play caller than Jason Garrett. So we'll see how things go with that because that was a thing that he got his job too fast as a head coach in
Yeah.
Cleveland because of his play calling as offensive coordinator. So we'll see how it goes as far as how his transition goes from Garrett to Kitchens.
Yeah.
So we'll see this week. But yeah, I'll pick the Giants in this one as well because we need it.
Mm.
Next game on the docket is the 5-6 Carolina Panthers visiting the 4-7 Miami Dolphins. I was over here singing Cam's praises last week, and they fell flat. Um, but they're playing the Dolphins, so
He'll be
obviously if
back.
there is opportunity for a bounce back, it's this week. So I'm gonna pick Carolina in this one just because it's the Dolphins, and I have no faith in them winning a game. So I'm picking Carolina in this one. What about you?
Same. Miami's trash.
Super
It's
trash, man.
a
Super
tough
trash.
goal for them. Yeah.
Poor Tua. I feel bad for that dude. All right. Next game. This might be the game of the week. Might be the game of the week. 8-3 Tennessee Titans visiting the 7-4 New England Patriots. A lot on the line in this one. We probably didn't realize this at the beginning of the year, but this has number one seed implications somehow
Yeah.
because the Bills have fallen
Insane.
back down to earth. And so if you look at this game, if the Patriots win this game, they're number one seed in the AFC.
God damn.
Unreal. Uh, thoughts and prediction on that game?
New England. Tennessee don't have their offense. Henry's out. Brown just put on IR.
Oh,
Julio might still be on IR, I believe as well. I think
yes,
he
I
went
believe.
on there. Yeah. So yeah,
Brutal.
yeah.
Wow, I didn't know about AJ Brown being on IR.
It just happened. It's 8:45, so it happened probably about three something, two something today.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Um, dang, that's tough. Well, didn't really leave much
yeah,
room for a guess of that one. I mean,
yeah,
New England is where they are right now, and they're at home in this game. Obviously, we talked
yeah,
about them kind of being iffy at home, but they seem to have
yeah,
figured that part of it out. And man, the way that defense is, if you don't have no offense that's able to be consistent and move the ball down the field, you got no shot. And
yeah.
so if they don't have AJ Brown or Julio Jones, I don't know
Yeah.
what they expect to do in that game. So I'm going with New England this one just because they have nobody else to play. And
Exactly.
they the Titans just released Adrian Peterson, so I don't know what that means, but yeah, I mean,
Yo.
well, yeah, that is what that is. So yeah, going with New England in this one. Hello, number one seed somehow. Um, Next game, 5-4-1 Pittsburgh Steelers visiting the 6-4 Cincinnati Bengals. Um, I'm going with the Bengals. I feel like they have to kind of,
Close one.
yeah, they. I mean, it's the Steelers first off, and the Steelers have been playing better. I think Ben's back
Yeah.
or will be back. Um, but it's the Bengals, and Bengals, if they have aspirations to be where they want to be, they can't lose this game.
Yep.
And they're obviously at home as well, so they got to pull this one out. So I'm going to go with Cincinnati, and sounds like you went with Cincinnati in this one as well.
Yeah. And what's going to be crazy when they win, this will be a season sweep. So that's going to be crazy. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if they go to man, Bengals might be 7-4. That's wild. That's wild.
Yeah.
Bengals will more than likely have the better record than the Browns at the end of this day.
Yeah.
Baker. All right. Next game, 4-6 Atlanta Falcons who stink, going up against the 2-8 Jacksonville Jaguars who also stink. So stink bowl. Um, I don't know I don't know how you picked this game. Uh, I mean, the Falcons we know have been sputtering. They got their doors blown off,
Back to
back to
back
back
weeks.
games. Coming off of beating the Saints at home. So you want to talk about like not being able to know which way is up for them. And then you have the Jaguars who are 2-8, but they beat the Buffalo Bills. Um, I'm gonna go with Atlanta in this one just because they seem like they're the better team? Question mark. Um, so yeah, I'm going with them with not much confidence, but I'm gonna go with the Falcons. What about you?
I was going to go with Atlanta, but since you were with them, I will still go with Atlanta.
I mean,
No, I think the fact that they got their doors blown off back to back weeks, they're going to come out this week and show us up. Actually, put together a good game and beat Jacksonville.
man, they have to, right? I mean, you think they would? You think they have to in this game? Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
I think that this is a game. I won't say tailor made for the Jaguars to win, but it's there. I mean, you look at how Buffalo had issues with their offense, and that them being inept at offense allowed the Jaguars to be in the game. And we've seen
yeah,
the past 2 weeks that I don't know what the Falcons are doing with their offense, so they may not be able to manufacture enough points, and that may keep Jacksonville close enough. So, maybe I won't say a good game, but a close game.
yeah,
But yeah, I just at least the Falcons, if y'all have anything left, this is the opportunity to prove it right here. So we'll see.
yeah.
Um, Next game, first game of the late slate of games. We have the 6-4 Los Angeles Chargers visiting the 5-5 Denver Broncos. Another AFC West matchup in this one. Two teams who we don't really know what they are. It seems. I think the Chargers have looked the best most recently,
Yeah.
with the Broncos losing to the Philadelphia Eagles and looking like a shell of the team that beat the Cowboys the week before that. So who knows with them? They're up and down. That's the reason why they're 5-5. So thoughts in that game, and who do you have pick? Who do you pick to win that
I got Chargers. I think they're gonna get off the schneid and try to make the playoffs. Right now, they're number 2 in their division, so I think they'll be able to pull out this win, knowing that they need this to be able to show that hey, we're here for a party and we want to make it to the dance post-season dance. So yeah, I got Chargers in this one.
one? Man, I don't know. I mean, I just don't have the same level of confidence in them that I had before.
Yeah, no, I understand.
And that makes it difficult, especially with this being a divisional game.
Hmm.
Similar styles on defense. I mean, I think ultimately you just kind of have to say I trust Herbert more than I trust Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah,
Um, so I understand that. I think just for the sake of splitting picks, I'm going to go with the Broncos in this one. Because I don't have confidence in either one of them. I want to see the Chargers do well because I like them.
yeah,
And I feel like they are the better team, but they don't really seem to be consistent.
yeah,
And like I said before, the Broncos are literally like the walking example of inconsistency because they're 5-5.
mhm,
One week they beat the doors off the Cowboys, and the next week they get the doors blown off against Philly. So who knows?
yeah,
So I'm picking Denver in this one with not a lot of confidence, but like I said, just to make things a little bit interesting from the pick perspective.
yeah.
But who knows in that game? It's a toss up. Um, this is being pegged as America's game of the week, and rightfully so.
Yep.
The 7-3 Los Angeles Rams visiting the 8-3 Green Bay Packers. That's floor is yours. I have no idea.
I'm going Rams. I'm going Rams to this one. Green Bay's defense has been balling, but I think Rams got embarrassed last time they were on the field, or
Yeah,
they felt embarrassed last time they were on the field by Arizona. By San Francisco. So yeah, they're going to come out. This is going to be a statement game for the Rams, and this will definitely boost up their chances as far as making a push for the division because they have to keep winning to be able to have the opportunity to play, to have a chance at the division lead when they play Arizona here in a couple weeks.
right. Um, yeah, I think there was a lot going on with the Rams last time we saw them. They lost Robert Woods a couple days before that, torn
Mhm.
ACL. Obviously, they signed Odell Beckham, but he only been in for a couple of days, so he
Yeah,
wasn't familiar with the route tree, and so he was only limited to a certain amount of packages.
yeah,
Um, Now you have that coming off a bye week. He has a whole week to understand the system and to kind
hmm,
of incorporate himself into the offense. You also have a Green Bay defense who obviously has turned the corner and become one of the top tier defenses in the league
I
somehow.
agree.
So they've certainly flipped the switch as well. So
Hmm.
strength against strength in this game. Obviously, on the other side of the ball, the Rams defense, who has kind of been up and down, we would have, I think, expect them to be a little bit more consistent. Going up against the Packers team, who, I mean, their offense has just been okay. I mean, obviously, our Rodgers coming back off of COVID. They won that game last week because Rusty's arm was off. They had just reattached it. So they won, was it 17-0? I think that game was. So I
Yeah,
mean, they're not setting the world on fire. The Seahawks defense is not very good, and they only scored 17 points at
yeah.
home. So it'll be a toss up. Um, I need the Packers to lose this game, so they can have 4 losses.
Yep.
And because I'm looking at number 1 seed, obviously, and obviously if the Rams win, they're 8-3, so it's going to help. But you also look at the fact that between the Cardinals and the Rams, they're going to beat each other up. So it really doesn't. It matters, but it doesn't matter because obviously Green Bay
Yeah.
has an easier division. So I would rather them have the 4 losses, and it mean more. Um, so I'm going to go with the Rams only because of personal reasons. Um, but I do think that that's going to be a fun game to watch. Um, I kind of wish the flex schedule started already because I'd rather that game be Sunday night
Yeah.
than the Browns and the Ravens. No shade to them, but this one has Sunday night football written all over it. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Rams in this one. Wouldn't be surprised either way how it goes, but I think now that uh, Odell's had a full week to digest the playbook and get them in familiar sets, they'll be able to kind of work through that and get the win against Green Bay. Next game, 5-5 Minnesota Vikings visiting the 5-5 San Francisco 49ers. Obviously, we saw the 49ers have seemingly turned the corner and have really done a good job in terms of kind of, I guess, potentially resurging for the second half of the year. And the Vikings beat Green Bay. So there's that. So, yeah, this one's probably a toss-up as well. Kirk Cousins on the road. I think there's an argument to be made about how maybe San Francisco just played up to the division opponent against LA. So who knows? They have not been playing very well throughout the other parts of the season. So we'll see. I'm going to go with San Francisco in this one. Certainly have an opportunity to kind of get on a run here late. I don't know what their chances are as far as a wild card, but I do like their chances against Minnesota. So I'm going with San Francisco. What about you?
We're just gonna keep it simple. So
I had a feeling it was happening. We're going to have somebody come in there in a second.
I didn't do it this loud. I didn't do it this loud.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you got Skull. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Any astute analysis behind that or just Skull?
It's going to be about 1:00 kickoff on the West Coast. So that's going to be close enough to noon for Kirk Cousins. So he'll be able to bowl out.
All right, that's fair. Sunday night game, kind of alluded to it here earlier, but the 6-5 Cleveland Browns visiting the 7-3 Baltimore Ravens. Who you picking in that one?
Unfortunately, I'm taking Baltimore. Even though I have a coworker that's a huge Baltimore fan. He be talking all the trash when that was loose. So this sucks.
don't they all? Don't they all?
Sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got Baltimore in this one.
Yeah, Cleveland. I mean,
they're playing a good team, so Baker not going to show up.
I don't know. Baker seems to beat Cleveland. I mean, beat Baltimore though. I mean, in the regular season. I'm not gonna lie, I'm going Baltimore. I think we should expect Lamar Jackson to be back in this game. So they should be kind of more stable on offense. We saw them obviously have issues with Chicago on defense last week, but obviously he was not available. So they had to kind of come back to win that game. But he should be back in the lineup, so I fully expect them to be able to handle up on the Browns. If the Browns defense shows up, it should be a good game. If not, then they may beat the brakes off. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Monday Night Football, the week that the Manicast decided we're not interested in watching this, so we're taking the week off.
Because next week going to be lit.
Next week will be absolutely lit. 3-7 Seattle Seahawks visiting the 4-6 Washington football team. I am picking Washington to win this game just because I don't really trust what the Seahawks have going on right now. And Washington seems to win games somehow in random spots. And why not this one? So I picked the football team to win this game. What about you?
Yeah, me too. Yeah, this is going to be insane with them winning this one. They're going to be right there on the cusp of a wild card, and their last 5 games is all divisional. Cowboys, Eagles, Giants. Like it's insane. Like who made that schedule for them? So yeah, I got them winning this one.
Yeah, AFC East. I hate to say it, but it's gonna be interesting in the last 6 weeks of the season, just because you never know what's gonna happen. Not necessarily as far as a division winner, but between the Eagles and the Washington, one of those teams can make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Which sounds disgusting, but it's a reality. So, they'll be playing us hard because the opportunity is there for them, and the Eagles have an outside track at winning the division because we've squandered some opportunities away the past few weeks. So it'll be interesting to see how this shakes out. Obviously, the Cowboys got some things they got to take care of and some business to handle that we hopefully don't have to. So we don't have to worry about that towards the end of the year. But it's the NFC East, so of course I'm sure at some point it will be some sort of thing to question in regards to whether or not we're able to put the division away in enough time to not have to have the heartburn or have heartburn come to New Year. But that's gonna be it for our picks. Will, you got anything else for us?
Cowboys magic number is 5, so they need to get to 5 more wins. A combination of 5 wins or Eagle losses. So
I mean, yeah. I mean, man, I gotta say, like this stretch has taken a lot of steam out of myself. I ain't gonna lie. Like I'm just kind of like not saying that that they can't do it, but I'm not gonna lie. Might not be picking the Cowboys this week. Just saying. Also, I guess it would be a good time to mention this, guys. We have a Twitch account now, and the Twitch account is Glowson GLOSON_productions PRODUCTIONS. Got that in one take. We are going to pivot our Cowboys reaction videos to our Twitch. So we'll continue to do our predictions on live here on YouTube, but our reactions to the Cowboys games will now be on our Twitch channel. So follow our social networking accounts to get that information. We will make sure to keep you guys updated with those things. You will hear from Rel. He has a We Talk Mavs video potentially tonight after the Wizards game. But we also have a TikTok account. I don't know how it works because I know
tickety tack.
The ticky tack. So I'm sure he'll have details on that as well. But we're trying to expand our footprint here, Glowson, and the opportunity to get Twitch present itself, and we're kind of excited about what potential opportunities we'll have on that channel. I know Will's been talking about doing some live things in regards to his Legos and things like that he's going to be doing. So we're kind of working through those things. So you'll start to see some different layers, different dimensions to Glowson. So we're excited about what's coming up in the future for us. So just stay locked in, guys. As always, like we mentioned at the end of every video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Glowson Sports, Glowson Geeked, For Your Ambition, all the above, guys. As always, we appreciate the time. For Will, I am Jay, and